Have a great day, everyone. For today's video, we are going to express our position regarding the controversies and conflicting views of Philippine history. But we mainly focus on the four controversies. First, the cry of PUGADLAWIN. Second, the cry of BAHAY TORO. Third, the version of the first cry. And lastly, the cry of BALINTAWAK. First and foremost, allow me to state my name. I'm Lori May Amaba, and for this moment, I will express my stand in regards of Pio Valenzuela cry of PUGADLAWIN. Actually, the cry of PUGADLAWIN was a cry for freedom. Its historic significance to us consists of the realization that the Filipino people had finally realized the lasting value of freedom and independence, and also the need to fight in order to prove themselves worthy to be called as truly free people. And it started when Bonifacio wanted the wealthy Filipinos to help finance the Katipunan in its struggle to free the country from Spain. He ordered some of his trusted men to approach the rich Filipinos like Francisco Rojas. Some refused to help the Katipunan, with a few exceptions like the physician Dr. Pio Valenzuela. Bonifacio decided to move to Balintawak. He ordered his runners to inform all Katipuneros that there would be a meeting in Balintawak with about 500 Katipuneros. This event, which happened on August 23, is known as the Cry of PUGADLAWIN. It symbolized the determination of the Filipinos to fight for independence even unto death. What is the significance of the cry of PUGADLAWIN? These events vitalized the unity of the Filipino people, brought a thirst for independence. The cry of the rebellion in PUGADLAWIN marked the start of the Philippine Revolution in 1896, which eventually led to independence of the country in 1898. Pio Valenzuela's version of Cry of PUGADLAWIN was deemed controversial because, as what I've read in the article, Pio Valenzuela changed his first statement to a different one in his later years. In the first version of his narration, he said that the cry occurred in Balintawak last August 26, 1986. That's why there is controversy in this statement.
This is Michelle D. Antonero, and I am going to tackle one of the version of the first cry of revolution. One of the version of the first cry is coming from Gregoria de Jesus. But before I am going to tackle her version, I want to introduce her first. Gregoria de Jesus is the wife of Andres Bonifacio and known as the Lakambini of the Katipunan. She began her revolutionary work at very young, at the age of 18, and later became the custodian of secret documents, sale, and weapons of the Katipunan. And later on, she was known as the mother of the Philippine Revolution. In her vision, it stated that the first cry of revolution transpired near Caloocan on August 25, 1896. The activities of the Katipunan reached nearly all comers of the Philippine archipelago, so that when its existence was discovered and some of the members arrested, they can immediately return to Caloocan. According to her version, Bonifacio and his men gathered in the house of Balintawak for the War of Liberation. That's all for her version. Thank you.
So good day everyone. So I am Mark Shelo R. Alburo, and I will be talking about the cry of Balintawak. So for nearly a century, the cry of Balintawak, a major turning point in the Philippines' history, has been the subject of controversy. The cry of Balintawak occurred in August 26, 1896. The cry, defined as a turning point when the Filipino finally refused Spanish colonial dominion over the Philippine Islands. With tears in their eyes, the people as one man pulled out their cedulas and tore them into pieces. It is surprising that there are different versions of the dates for the first cry of the revolution as well as the venue. This controversy up to this day remains unsolved. It is believed that the so-called cry took place in Balintawak, but others would say that it really happened in PUGADLAWIN. Nevertheless, there are different versions to consider in knowing the real dates and place of the cry. This includes Pio Valenzuela's controversial Cry of PUGADLAWIN, Santiago Alvarez, the Cry of BAHAY TORO, Gregoria de Jesus' version of First Cry, and lastly, Guillermo Masangkay's The Cry of Balintawak. When and where it happened has been the subject of much controversy. It has been called the Cry of Balintawak and celebrated every 26th of August for the longest time. But the National Historical Commission changed the date to August 23 and the location to PUGADLAWIN based mainly on the accounts of Dr. Pio Valenzuela. There have been many claims, backed up with multiple and contradictory sources, as to dates and venue of the cry. The date of the cry has been placed anytime between August 23 and August 25, and the venue in Kangkong, Caloocan or in Pasong Tamo in Banlat, Caloocan or in Bahay Toro, Caloocan. There are many versions that we can read online about our history, and it is hard for us to know what is the truth because of the constant changes that happens. And these changes leads to controversies that makes us think what really happened before. The Cry of Balintawak is an important event that leads us into the pathway of fighting for our freedom. It is important to know where and when it happened, but for me, it is more important if we understand what really our history is all about. Like how we achieved the independence from the conqueror that wants to own our country. It is also possible to have that so-called cry of PUGADLAWIN, but it doesn't have much evidences to make it more concrete like the version of the cry of Balintawak. We need to commemorate the events to justify what they all fight for. It serves as a lesson for us to keep fighting for our freedom and not let anyone invade our properties.
Good day everyone, I am Sharon Marie T. Colina, and for today's video, I am going to share to all of you one of the controversies and conflict views about Philippine history, entitled The Cry of Bahay Toro by Santiago Alvarez. A well-known Katipunero from Cavite and a son of Mariano Alvarez, the leader of Magdiwang faction, Santiago Alvarez wrote another version of Cry which launched by the Philippine Revolution during the Spanish colonial time. He is a relative of Gregoria de Jesus who happened to be the wife of Andres Bonifacio. Yet, Santiago Alvarez is not an eyewitness of the historic event. He stated that in Sunday of August 23, 1896, early at 10 a.m., there was about 500 Katipuneros meet together at a place called Sampalucan, barrio of Bahay Toro. At the barn of Kabisang Melchiora Aquino, they are ready and eager to join Supremo Andres Bonifacio and his men. And at Monday of August 24, 1896, there were about 1,000 Katipuneros was held for a meeting by Supremo Andres Bonifacio inside a big barn, started at 10 in the morning until 12 noon. And when the meeting adjourned, amidst the loud cries, "Long live the son of the country," which means mabuhay ang mga anak ng bayan. The cry of Bahay Toro or the cry of Bonifacio is an outright symbol of revolution against Spanish oppressors. By the way, when we say cry, it is a term derived from the Spanish El Grito de Rebelión, cry of rebellion, or El Grito for short. It refers to a decision or a call to revolt. When we say a call to revolt, it is the time to end the Pony War and take back the peace. But sadly, this version of Santiago Alvarez is not given an equal value compared to other versions for authors and for other accounts. That actually it is a part of the historic event. That will be all. Thank you.